So what's Christmas mean to you? Ask friends, ask people you know around you, what does Christmas mean? You'll be amazed at different responses that you'll get. But listen, when Jesus came bearing gifts. Only gifts that he could give, and gifts that we desperately need. So last week we talked about the gift of pardon. So when Jesus Christ comes into your life, he deals with the number one problem or issue that we have, and that is dealing with the sin problem. The scripture says, for all have sinned and come short of what God expects. The scripture says in Romans 6:23, says the wages of sin is death. And so in order to be able to be reunited with God and linked up with him and have a vital relationship with him, that penalty of sin has to be paid. God's plan was to send his son, who died on a cross, who took on himself in his death that penalty which I was due. So, the good news is when Jesus Christ comes into your life, he gives you a brand new start and the debt is canceled. The second thing we want to talk about that Jesus brings is the gift of purpose. Listen, many of us go through life with no clear purpose. We're like a ship on the sea without sails or a rudder, drifting with the tide. You ever felt like that? A number of years ago, I read an article about, I think it was written by Jack Kerouac, and it was about two hippies that were walking down an old, hot, dry, dusty road one day, and one of the hippies falls on the ground. He's just lying there, not getting up, and his buddy goes over and said, come on, man, you got to go. We got to keep moving. We got to keep moving. He said, where are we going? He said, I don't know, but we just got to keep going. You ever felt like that? Tired of going, but you just kind of got to keep going? Listen to this in terms of purpose and the struggle that often people have in their lives. And I've lost my sheet, so hang down here. Poet Lord Byron said, my days are in yellow leaf, the flowers and the fruits of life are gone, the worm and the canker and the grief are mine alone. Thoreau, the great literary genius, said most men live lives of quiet desperation. Ralph Barton, one of the top cartoonists of the nation, left this note pinned to his pillow before he took his life. I've had few difficulties, many friends, great successes. I've gone from wife to wife, from house to house, visited great countries of the world. But I am fed up with inventing devices to fill up 24 hours of the day. The scripture tells us in Colossians 1:16, for through him, through Christ, God created everything. He made the things we can see and the things we can't see. Everything was created through him and for him. Everything that God has made on this planet, in this universe, there's a purpose for it. God is a God of purpose. You have a purpose. He has made us and put a purpose in our hearts, but a lot of times we don't know what that purpose is. So the scripture tells us that our main purpose is to, and this is kind of my paraphrasing of it, is to honor God in all that we are and all that we do and enjoy him every day of our lives. So there's a general purpose. The scripture tells us in Matthew chapter 22, the general purpose for all that follow the Lord is this. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. The second is equally important. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And so you say, well, okay, I understand that. I'm working on that. But how about the personal purpose for my life? How do I understand what that is? How do I get to understand that and begin to implement it in my life? Let me give you a couple final thoughts on that. First of all, you've got to invite Christ into your life. The scripture tells us in John 14:6, Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. Once Christ is into your life, then he will show you what the unique personal purpose is for your life. So, secondly, if Jesus lives in your life and you're seeking his purpose, ask these questions. 1, am I honoring God in every area of my life? In my thoughts, in my actions, in my words, with his money, with my possessions? Secondly, where do you need to make some adjustments so you can honor him in all the areas of your life? In John 10:10, Jesus said, I came that they might have life and they might have it abundantly. In other words, what he was saying, that they might be full of purpose and meaning every day of their life, and that they might enjoy me. And so, in summary then, what is our purpose? Our main purpose, as I said a moment ago, is to honor God in all that we are, in all that we do, and enjoy him every moment of our lives. So, we want to open another gift here. Another gift that he brings us, and only he brings us, but that we desperately need. And once you come to know Jesus Christ and he lives in your life, he brings you purpose. You think about that.